I'm slouched on my couch, Bud Light in hand, when I think back to that coffee spill that sparked everything. Life loves a plot twist, especially when you're not looking. Who knew trust could unravel so fast? I'm slouched on my couch, a lukewarm Bud Light sweating in my hand, staring at the chipped coffee table I've been meaning to replace for 6 months now? It's one of those nights where the TV's on but I'm not really watching. Some cooking show with a guy yelling about pork chops. My mind's somewhere else, drifting back to a year ago when life felt like I'd hit the jackpot without even buying a ticket. That's when I met Emma. Picture this. I'm in line at Brew and Bean, half asleep, fumbling my wallet like a moron, and she's behind the counter, all messy bun and sly grin, pouring my latte with this little flourish. I go to grab it, miss the handoff, and boom! Coffee's dripping down my shirt. She laughs, not a polite giggle, but a full-on snort, and says, "Well, that's one way to wake up." I'm standing there, soaked, probably blushing like a kid who got caught stealing cookies, and I just laugh back. "Yeah, I'm smooth like that," I say, wiping my hands on my jeans. That was it. She scribbled her number on my receipt, and I walked out feeling like I'd won something big. Fast forward a bit, and we're a thing. Emma's 26, sharp as a tack, with this habit of roasting me just enough to keep me on my toes. She makes these killer pancakes, fluffy, golden, with a little crispy edge that I'd fight a bear for. We'd spend weekends sprawled on my lumpy couch, binging whatever garbage Netflix threw at us, arguing over who'd win in a zombie apocalypse. "You'd trip over your own shoelaces," she'd say, smirking, tossing popcorn at my head. "And you'd waste all your ammo showing off," I'd fire back, catching a kernel in my mouth like it was a gold medal moment. It was easy, you know. The kind of easy where you don't realize how good you've got it until it's gone. I'm not some big-shot romantic, okay? I work at an insurance firm, pushing papers around, pretending I care about deductibles. My apartment's nothing fancy, leaky faucet in the kitchen, a couch I got off Craigslist, and a basketball hoop out back I use to blow off steam with my buddy Mark on weekends. "You're not Brad Pitt," Mark told me once, mid-dribble. "But you don't totally suck at trivia, so fair. Point is, I'm just a regular dude, and Emma made me feel like maybe regular was enough. So after a year of her dragging me to farmers markets and me dragging her to dive bars, I decided to lock it down. No fancy setup, just us by the lake near my place, sun dipping low, bugs buzzing around. I didn't even have a ring yet, just a goofy grin and a promise. "I'll get you something shiny when I'm not broke," I said, scratching the back of my neck. She teared up, punched my arm, and said, "You're an idiot, Jake." Yes. Right then, I thought, this is it. I've peaked. A few weeks later, we're at her parents' place for the engagement party. It's one of those suburban houses with a manicured lawn and a mailbox that probably cost more than my rent. Inside, it's all warm lights, cheap wine, and family chatter. Emma's glowing, flitting around in a sundress, showing off the placeholder ring I'd nabbed from a gas station vending machine. Don't judge, it was temporary. I'm sipping a beer, trying not to spill it on their pristine carpet, when her mom, Linda, corners me by the snack table. She's got this tight smile, like she's sizing up a used car. "The stable's nice, Jake," she says, popping a grape in her mouth, "but Emma's used to more. Ambition, you know?" I blink, caught off guard, and manage a weak, yeah, I guess." She pats my arm, more like a tap, really, and drifts off to refill her wine. I shake it off, muttering to myself, "Ouch, lady." But I've heard worse. Figured she was just doing that mom thing, testing me. No biggie. Then there's her dad, Carl. He's this quiet guy, balding, always in a polo shirt, nursing a whiskey like it's his job. He nods at me across the room, raises his glass a little, and I nod back. Cool, right? Seems chill. But Emma's brothers, Tom and Mike, are a different story. Tom's 24, built like he lifts weights instead of having a personality, and Mike's 22, wiry, with this twitchy energy, like he's waiting for a fight to break out. They're hovering by the chips, eyeballing me like I stole their Xbox, not their sister. "You treat her right, man," Tom says, cracking his knuckles, half grinning like it's a joke, but not really. "Yeah," Mike chimes in, "we're watching you." I laugh, hold up my hands. "Relax, guys, I'm harmless. Just don't ask me to fix your Wi-Fi." They smirk, but their eyes don't. It's weird, sure, but I brush it off. I'm in love, damn it, and I've got this dumb idea I'll win them over with my charm, or at least my talent for not tripping over furniture. The night rolls on, and it's good. Emma's laughing with her cousins. I'm sneaking extra meatballs from the tray, and for a minute, I feel like I belong. There's music. Some old school Springsteen her dad put on, and I catch Emma's eye across the room. She winks, and my chest does that stupid flip thing. I'm thinking, yeah, this is my crew now. They'll warm up to me. I mean, I'm not fancy, but I'm solid. I pay my bills, I don't ghost people, and I'd take a bullet for her, or at least a really mean Yelp review. What's not to like? So I sip my beer, lean back against the wall, and let myself soak it in. Life's good. I've got a fiancé who gets me, a future that's looking less blurry, and a buzz going that's just enough to make me forget Linda's little jab. But here's the thing, and I didn't clock it then because I was too busy being a lovesick idiot. Those little moments weren't just quirks. Linda's comment wasn't just her being awkward. It was a warning shot. The brothers' death stares weren't just overprotective sibling crap. They were staking out territory, and Carl's silence, that wasn't him being chill. It was him staying out of the line of fire. Looking back, that party wasn't welcome to the family. It was more like, smile now, stab later. I didn't see it though. I was too caught up in Emma, in us, in this fairy tale bubble I'd built in my head. I thought I'd won the lottery, you know? Turns out I'd just stepped into a game I didn't even know I was playing, and man, was I about to lose big. It's a Tuesday, one of those gray, dragging days where the clock at work seems to be mocking me, stuck at 2:47 p.m. for what feels like an eternity. I'm slumped at my desk, surrounded by stacks of insurance forms I'm pretending to care about, sneaking a quick text to Emma. Lunch was a sad sandwich, save me with a meme. I hit send, expecting her usual reply, a blurry cat pic or some sarcastic quip about my taste in food. Nothing. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzes. K, she writes, just that, one letter. I stare at it, squinting like it's a riddle. Normally, she's flooding my inbox with dumb stuff. Like that time she sent me a photoshopped pic of me as a superhero with a beer gut, captioned Captain Lame-Ass. Now it's K. I scratch my jaw, leaning back in my creaky chair, and mutter to myself, okay, did I forget her birthday or something? Now, that's in June, right? I fire off another text, you good? And get back a, yeah, 2 whole words this time. Progress, I guess. But it's weird, and not the good kind of weird like when she dared me to eat 3 tacos in under a minute and I nearly choked laughing. This is the kind of weird that makes your stomach twist a little. Things have been off for a couple weeks now, if I'm honest. It started small. Emma asking stuff like, who'd you have lunch with today, while she's flipping pancakes in my kitchen. Her tone all casual, but her eyes flicking up to mine like she's waiting for me to slip. Mark, I'd say, shoving a bite in my mouth. You know, the guy who thinks he's LeBron but shoots like a drunk toddler? She'd nod, flip the spatula and let it drop. Then it's, why didn't you text me back during your break while we're sprawled on the couch, her feet in my lap? I'd shrug, rubbing her ankle. Got stuck fixing a printer jam. Nearly lost a finger to that bastard. She'd laugh. But it's thin, not the belly laugh I'm used to. I chalk it up to wedding stress. I mean, she's been obsessing over napkin colors like it's a UN peace treaty negotiation. Babe, I told her last week, grinning as she held up 2 swatches of beige, nobody's gonna notice if it's ivory or eggshell. They'll be too busy stealing the centerpieces. She rolled her eyes, but that smile didn't quite reach her face. I figure she's just tired. Planning a wedding's gotta be brutal, right? Then there's this one night that really throws me. I'm half asleep on my couch, some zombie flick droning in the background, when I wake up to Emma sitting cross-legged next to me, scrolling through my phone. My phone, in her hands. I blink, groggy, and sit up, rubbing my eyes. What you doing? I ask, keeping it light though my gut's doing a little flip. She glances over, smirking like she's been caught sneaking cookies, and tosses it back on the cushion. Just making sure you're not secretly a spy, she says, poking my side. I snort, grabbing her hand. Babe, I can barely keep my password straight. 7, I am not. She giggles, cuddles up against me, and I let it go. But as I'm drifting back to sleep, her head on my chest, I can't shake this tiny itch in my brain. Why is she checking my phone? I mean, I've got nothing to hide, unless you count my Google search for how to unclog a toilet without crying. But still, It sticks with me, like a popcorn kernel in your teeth you can't quite get out. The real kicker comes at a family dinner at her parents' place a few nights later. It's one of those loud, chaotic meals. Carl's carving a roast like he's auditioning for a cooking show, Tom's hogging the mashed potatoes, and Mike's scrolling TikTok at the table, snickering at something dumb. I'm wedged between Emma and her mom, Linda, who's sipping wine and watching me like I'm a lab rat. We're passing the gravy when Linda leans over, her voice all syrupy, and says, "Hard to trust men these days, huh, Emma?" I freeze, spoon midair, and Emma just nods, cutting her meat like it's personal. Tom smirks across the table, leaning back in his chair. "Yeah, better keep an eye on this one," he says, jerking his chin at me. I force a laugh, setting the spoon down a little too hard. Good thing I'm too boring to cheat. My wild nights are me and a frozen pizza, I shoot back, winking at Emma. She smiles, but it's tight, and Linda just raises an eyebrow, sipping her Pinot like she's plotting my downfall. Carl grunts something about the roast being overcooked and the table moves on, but the air feels thick like I've walked into a joke I'm not in on. I'm driving home later, Emma quiet in the passenger seat staring out the window while the radio hums some country song about heartbreak. "You okay?" I ask, tapping the wheel. She shrugs, tugging her jacket tighter. "Yeah, just tired." I nod, but my hands grip the steering wheel a little harder than they need to. "Your mom's got a real knack for subtle burns," I say, trying to keep it light. "She's basically Gordon Ramsay with better hair." Emma snorts, but it's quick, gone before it lands. "She's just protective," she mutters, picking at her nails. "Protective, sure." I let it slide, turn up the radio, and tell myself I'm overthinking it. This is normal, right? Engaged couples hit rough patches, families get weird. I'm not some paranoid schmuck, I'm just a guy who loves his fiancée and her stupidly good pancakes. It's fine, probably. But it's not fine, and I should have seen it coming. A few days later, I'm sprawled on my couch again, fresh off a long shift, cracking open a beer and debating whether to order wings or just eat cereal for dinner. The door buzzes, and I figure it's Mark dropping by unannounced like usual. Guy's got a sixth sense for when I've got food. I shuffle over, swing it open, and there's Emma. No call, no text, just her standing there in the hallway. Hair messy, eyes sharp, clutching her phone like it's a grenade. Her jaws tight, and before I can even say, "Hey," she steps inside, boots tapping hard on the floor, and holds up the screen. "We need to talk," she says, voice low, clipped, like she's been rehearsing it. I blink, beer still in my hand, and feel my stomach drop like I'm on a roller coaster I didn't sign up for. "Oh, great," I say, forcing a grin, the 4 words every guy dreads more than "I'm pregnant" or "the IRS called." "What's up?" She doesn't smile back, she just stares, and that's when I know. Whatever's coming, it's not good. My beer's sweating more than I am, and all I can think is, what the hell did I do? I'm sitting in a booth at Dino's Diner, the same greasy spoon where those damn photos were taken, nursing a black coffee and a bruised ego. My face looks like a bad abstract painting, purple splotches around my jaw, a stitched-up lip that twitches every time I sip, and a ribcage that's still whining from Tom's size 12 boot. I look like I lost a bar fight, I mutter to myself, staring at my reflection in the spoon. Spoiler, I did. The waitress, a tired-looking woman with a name tag that says Barb, slides a plate of fries my way without me asking. "You look like you need 'em, hun," she says, voice raspy from too many cigarettes. I nod, managing a half-grin that stings. "Thanks. Can you throw in a side of dignity if you've got it?" She chuckles, shuffling off, and I pick at the fries, replaying the last 24 hours like a movie I can't pause. Emma's blank stare, Carl's fist, the lamp I'll never replace. It's a mess, and I'm still trying to figure out how my life turned into a reality TV train wreck overnight. The ER doc's words keep bouncing around my head. "File a report, man. They can't just do this," he'd said, scribbling on his clipboard while I sat there with Mark's melted peas dripping down my shirt. I'd shrugged, too dazed to decide, but the more I think about it, the more it gnaws at me. They didn't just jump me. They trashed my place, my trust, my whole damn future with Emma. I can't let that slide. So this morning, still hobbling like an old man, I dig out my phone and call David, my lawyer buddy from college. He picks up on the second ring, voice all chipper. "Jake, my man, you finally proposing to me instead?" I snort, wincing as my ribs protest. Nah, dude, I need you to save my ass, not marry it. Emma's family beat the crap out of me last night. There's a beat of silence, then, wait, what? Like, metaphorically? No, like literally, punches, kicks, the works, over some blurry pics they think prove I'm cheating. He whistles low. Holy shit, you okay? You define okay, I say, rubbing my jaw. Look, I've got bruises and a busted lamb. Time to lawyer up before they try framing me for Bigfoot's murder too. David laughs, but it's tight. All right, man, come by tomorrow. We'll figure this out. I'm still poking at my fries, wondering if I've got the guts to drag this to the cops, when the diner door jingles and in walks Uncle Joe. Emma's uncle, the quiet guy who always hung back at family stuff with a beer and a vague smile. I barely know him, maybe swapped 5 words at Christmas, but here he is, sliding into the booth across from me, looking twitchy. He's got thinning hair, a flannel shirt, and this nervous vibe like he's about to confess to stealing cable. Jake, he says, leaning in, voice hushed. You deserve to know the truth. I set the fry down, eyebrows up. Okay, cryptic much? What's going on? He glances around like what, the ketchup bottles are eavesdropping? And slides a USB drive across the table. Linda's been plotting this for months, he says, eyes darting. She hired some creep to tail you, faked those pics. Wants Emma with Greg, rich dude, slick hair, 0 spine. I stare at him, then the USB, my brain buffering like a bad Wi-Fi signal. Wait, hold up, I say, leaning forward, ignoring the ache in my side. You're telling me Linda set me up? Like, hired a guy? Joe nods, grim. Yeah, she's been feeding Emma crap about you not being good enough. I couldn't sit on this anymore. I grab the USB, flipping it between my fingers, and feel this weird mix of shock and oh shit clarity. So my almost mother-in-law's a criminal mastermind, I say, half laughing, half pissed. Cool, guess I dodged a bullet. And a few fists. Joe doesn't smile, just rubs his neck. She's got texts, emails, all of it on there. Thought you should have it. I plug it into my phone right then, because screw waiting, and scroll through. There's Linda to Emma. He's not good enough, sweetie. Trust me, I've seen his type. Then to some random number. Make it look real. Get pics with a woman. Doesn't matter who. My jaw drops, coffee forgotten. She's not just a control freak, I mutter, scrolling faster. She's a freaking Bond villain, Joe shrugs, looking guilty. Emma's easy to sway. Linda's been at it since she was a kid. I lean back, head spinning, and shove the USB in my pocket. Thanks, man, I say, voice tight. This changes everything. By the time I limp out of Dino's, my fries cold and my coffee colder, I'm done waffling. I call Mark from the parking lot, pacing despite the pain shooting up my side. Dude, you won't believe this, I say when he picks up. Emma's mom hired a PI to frame me. I've got proof, texts, the works. He's quiet for a sec, then, no way. That's nuts. What are you gonna do? I kick a pebble, watching it skitter across the asphalt. Police station, now. They don't get to ruin me and walk away. He laughs, short and sharp. Attaboy, need a ride? Nah, I've got this, I say, hanging up and heading for my beat-up Honda. The drive's a blur, every pothole jolts my ribs, but I barely feel it over the fire building in my chest. I walk into the station, USB in hand, and the desk cop, a bored guy with a mustache, looks up. Help you? He says, chewing gum like it's a chore. Yeah, I say, sliding the drive over. My fiancée's family jumped me last night. Turns out her mom set the whole thing up. Fake pics, hired a guy, everything. He raises an eyebrow, popping his gum. This is wild. Sit tight, we're on it. I'm in a plastic chair an hour later, giving my statement, showing them the texts, while a cop named Ortiz snaps pics of my bruises. Premeditated assault with a side of conspiracy, he says, shaking his head. We'll dig into this. You did right coming in. I nod, exhausted, but there's this spark kicking in. Like I'm not just some schmuck who got pummeled anymore. I'm done being their punching bag, literally. Back home, I crash on the couch, staring at the ceiling, the USB burning a hole in my pocket. How did I miss this? Linda's digs, Emma's paranoia? It was right there, and I was too busy playing house to see it. My phone buzzes, and I glance at it. Carl's number. I almost don't answer, but curiosity wins. Jake, he says when I pick up, voice shaky, not the bellowing thug from last night. Hey, let's talk this out, huh? No need for all this mess. I laugh, bitter, rubbing my jaw. Oh, now you want to chat? Too late, pal. I hang up before he can sputter a reply, tossing the phone aside. They're scared. Good. Let 'em squirm. This isn't over. It's just getting started. I'm standing there in my living room, beer still in one hand, staring at Emma like she's just grown a second head. Because, honestly, that'd make more sense than whatever's about to go down. She's holding her phone up like it's Exhibit B in a murder trial, her knuckles white around it, and her eyes are locked on me, cold, sharp, nothing like the girl who used to chuck popcorn at my face during movie night. "What's this, Jake?" she says, shoving the screen closer, voice shaking but not in a sad way, more like she's barely holding back a scream. I squint at it, and there's me, blurry as hell, walking out of Dino's Diner with Sarah from work. Sarah's got her hair up, glasses slipping down her nose, and I'm holding the door like some chump who didn't sign up for a photo shoot. "That's just lunch, Emma," I say, setting the beer down on the coffee table a little too fast. It sloshes, but I don't care. "We were talking spreadsheets, not sex, you know, Sarah." She's the one who yells at the printer like it's her ex. Emma's jaw tightens and she snaps. "Don't lie to me. I know what I saw." Her hands are trembling now, and I can see her nails digging into her palms. I step closer, palms up, trying to keep it calm. "Babe, come on, it's nothing. I told you about that lunch last week. It was me, Sarah, and a pile of invoices." That's it. She doesn't budge, just shakes her head like I'm feeding her the world's worst excuse. "You didn't tell me she was there," she says, voice low, cutting. "You said work people. Why'd you leave her out?" I blink, thrown off, raking a hand through my hair. "I don't know, because it didn't matter. It was a burger and some numbers. What's the big deal?" But she's not hearing me. Her eyes flick to the screen, then back to me, and she lets out this bitter little laugh that sounds nothing like her. "The big deal? You're sneaking around, Jake. I've got proof right here." I open my mouth to argue. "Proof? That blurry Bigfoot sighting?" But before I can get a word out, there's this loud banging on my door, like someone's trying to knock it off the hinges. I freeze, glancing at Emma, who doesn't even flinch, just crosses her arms tighter. "Who the hell?" I start, but the door flies open and in storms Carl, her dad, red face and puffing like he's run a marathon. Behind him are Tom and Mike, her brothers, looking like they've been waiting their whole lives for this moment. "You hurt my girl, you punk!" Carl bellows, pointing a shaky finger at me, his polo shirt stretched tight over his gut. I stumble back, hands up, beer forgotten on the table. Whoa, what are you talking about?" I say, voice cracking a bit because, holy shit, this is escalating fast. Tom's already cracking his knuckles. Dude's built like a linebacker with a grudge, and Mike's bouncing on his toes, grinning like a kid about to smash a piñata. "This is a misunderstanding," I yell, dodging toward the couch. But Tom's faster. His fist slams into my jaw, a solid crack that sends me reeling into the side table. My lamp, $20 IKEA special, RIP, crashes to the floor, bulb popping like a sad little firework. "You think you can play her like that?" Tom snarls, grabbing my shirt and yanking me up. I taste blood, swiping at my lip and try to shove him off. "I didn't do anything," I shout, adrenaline pumping now. Mike's on me next, shoving me hard into the wall. My shoulder slams against it and I hear something crunch, probably not the drywall. "Guys, chill, I can show you emails," I gasp, flailing an arm toward my phone on the couch. "It's just work." Carl's in my face now, whiskey breath hot and sour. "Emails? Huh? You're a liar, plain and simple," he spits and swings. His fist catches my cheek and stars explode behind my eyes. I stagger, tripping over the lamp cord and hit the floor hard. Mike's foot connects with my ribs once, twice, and I curl up, arms over my head, wheezing. "Admit it," he yells, voice high and wild. "Admit you've been screwing around." I cough, blood dripping onto my shirt, and croak, "I didn't, I swear." Through the haze, I catch a glimpse of Emma by the door, arms still crossed, just watching. No shock, no tears, nothing. She's a statue, and that cuts deeper than the kicks. "Emma, say something," I manage, voice hoarse, but she doesn't. Her lips press into a thin line and she looks away, like I'm some stranger she's already done with. It's chaos for maybe a minute, feels like an hour. Fists flying, furniture skidding, my coffee table taking a beating it didn't deserve, then Carl's breathing heavy, stepping back, and Mike grabs Tom's arm. "Enough," Mike says, wiping sweat off his forehead. He's down. Tom spits on the carpet, classy, and Carl looms over me, pointing again. Stay away from her, or next time you're done, he growls. Voice rough, like he's auditioning for a mob movie. I'm still on the floor, ribs screaming, trying to catch my breath, when Emma finally moves. She steps forward, boots clicking, and looks down at me, eyes blank. We're over, she says, flat, like she's canceling a dentist appointment. No hesitation, no nothing. She turns and they all file out. Carl muttering, Tom cracking his neck, Mike slamming the door behind them. The silence hits like a truck. I lie there, sprawled on my trashed rug, blood trickling from my lips, staring at the ceiling. My lamp's in pieces, my table's got a new dent, and I'm pretty sure my ribs are staging a protest. Everything hurts, but it's not the punches that get me. It's her. She didn't even blink while they turned me into a punching bag. I groan, rolling onto my side, and fumble for my phone, half buried under the couch. My hands shake as I dial Mark, smearing blood on the screen. It rings twice before he picks up. Yo, you got wings yet? He says, all chipper. I cough, wincing. Dude, I think I just got canceled by her whole family tree. Can you, come get me? There's a pause, then, what the hell happened? I laugh, but it's weak, more like a choke. Long story, bring ice. Half an hour later, I'm in the ER, slumped in a plastic chair, holding a bag of frozen peas Mark swiped from his freezer to my swollen jaw. The doc's poking at my ribs, cracked, not broken, lucky me, and my lips stitched up, tasting like metal and regret. Mark's pacing by the curtain, hands in his pockets. Bro, this is insane, he says, shaking his head. They jumped you? Over what? I lean back, the peas slipping a bit, and mutter, some blurry pics of me and Sarah at lunch. Emma thinks I'm cheating. Then her dad and brothers decided to play WWE in my living room. He stops, stares. And Emma just let them? I nod, slow, feeling that sting again, not the physical one. Yeah. Stood there like she was watching paint dry. The doc scribbles something, glances up. You reporting this? Cops don't mess around with assault. I shrug, wincing as my ribs complain. Maybe. I don't know. Mark drives me home later, the car quiet except for the hum of the engine. My place looks like a crime scene. Lamp shards, smeared blood, a toppled chair. I sink onto the couch, head throbbing, and Mark flops next to me, cracking open one of my beers. I'd rate the punches a solid 6/10, I say, trying to grin, but it hurts too much. Hurt like hell, but their coordination sucked, he snorts. But his eyes are serious. You okay, man? Like, really? I stare at the mess, at the spot where Emma stood, and feel this hollow ache spread through me. No, I say, voice low. This isn't adding up. Something's off. And I'm not just talking about my face. He nods, sipping his beer, and I lean back, closing my eyes. Whatever this is, it's not over. Not by a long shot. I'm slouched in a folding chair in my new one-bedroom apartment, a Miller Lite in hand, boxes still unpacked around me. It's a fresh start 2 hours from the old mess, with a dripping faucet I won't fix anytime soon. New place, new me, I mutter, sipping. Still sucks at plumbing. It's been a week since moving, a month since the trial, and I'm finally breathing easier. My phone buzzes with Carl's number again, 4th time this week, but I let it hit voicemail. No interest in his let's settle, please. Emma's family freaked after I gave the cops that USB. Carl called, voice shaky. We can pay for the damage, Jake, he said. I laughed, tell it to the judge. Hung up. Tom texted a lame sorry bro, got out of hand, and I deleted it. Emma left a teary voicemail. I didn't know, Jake. I miss you, she sobbed. I hit delete. Miss me? She missed her shot when she watched me bleed. The trial was a sweaty mess. Linda got 2 years for conspiracy, Carl a year, Tom and Mike 6 months each for assault. I testified, ribs still sore, showing the jury Linda's texts and that USB. Uncle Joe backed me up. Linda planned it, wanted Emma with Greg, some rich asshole, he said. Guilty verdicts all around. Emma wasn't charged, but might as well be a ghost back home. I met her one last time at Brew and Bean before moving. She begged, eyes red. I was scared, Jake. I messed up, she cried. I leaned back. You stood there while they beat me. You chose them. Bye. Walked out with Mark, no regrets. 2 days later, I drove off to a new job, a rec league, a clean slate. Now at a dive bar, Sarah taps my arm. Spreadsheet guy, she grins. I laugh. The lunch that started it all. We clink beers, joke about it. No fists this time, just fries, I say. It's easy, light. First night, I'm not replaying the ambush. Court sucked, but I've got my life back. Not perfect, just mine. If your gut says run, listen. I didn't. Got bruises for it. Here's to dodging the next wreck. Cheers. I finish my beer, toss it in a box, and let the quiet settle in.